Well, we haven't had any official reaction from the European Commission behind me, but in the weeks leading up to this vote, when the writing was on the wall, we heard a lot of concern from EU officials, and that's for two reasons. One is, as you mentioned, France is the second biggest EU country, and political instability in the second largest EU country is bad news for the European Union. This is, of course, the second time a government has fallen in recent years, and there seems to be no clear way that the French Parliament is going to become governable. And of course, you have all the speculation about Emmanuel Macron resigning as a result of this vote, although he's said he has absolutely no intention of doing so before the end of his term. But it all means a kind of leadership vacuum in the EU, and it adds to the perception that President Macron is a lame duck and unable to take a lead on the European stage. Then the other reason they're worried is actually because of the policy issue that resulted in this no confidence vote, which was the budget, which was trying to deal with France's deficit and debt, as you were just talking about. Now, that France's deficit is very clearly violating EU rules, and the Commission has ruled so last year. However, the Commission has taken a very light-handed approach with France in a way that it certainly wouldn't with other countries, and that's because of France's central importance to the European Union. But of course, there's always fears that patience will run out with France not getting a hold of that deficit in a way that it's required to do under EU rules. And of course, the worst case scenario that people fear, that your guest was just speaking about there, is that France would have to take out some kind of loan, that it would, especially if the bond market started panicking as a result of this political instability, that it has been suggested that the IMF would have to step in. What's more likely, since the debt crisis, the IMF wouldn't really need to have a role because there's the European Stability Mechanism. The EU could bail out France. We're not, as your previous guest was noting, we're not there yet, but there's a lot of discussion right now in Brussels about what would need to be done very quickly if there was some kind of panic in the bond markets, if investors lost confidence in France's debt. That, of course, needs unanimous approval by all the other EU governments. So I've also heard a lot of people speculating whether France could even get unanimous approval for a bailout.
Well, Dave, we've asked whether France's role in Europe has been weakening now. I mean, traditionally it has such a leading role. Do we envision that their role is now weakened?
Yes, I mean, that is the consensus. Already there was an impression that Emmanuel Macron is a lame duck, and that when he's speaking at European level, he is so sidetracked by the domestic political and economic crises that he's facing that he's not really able to move the needle at all at European level. And that's a big problem because there really isn't anyone right now leading at European level. He was, of course, when he came in his first term out to the sounds of the Ode to Joy, the EU anthem, he really made Europe the centerpiece of his presidency, and he was going to transform Europe, give Europe a stronger vision in the world. Nobody is feeling right now like Europe is very strong and having a strong position in the world. And they're looking around at the table at this current crop of leaders, and they don't see anyone who could maybe lead Europe out of this position it's in right now. And certainly today's vote furthers that impression of Emmanuel Macron that he is not going to be able to help Europe as a whole in this very delicate and dangerous position that the EU finds itself in right now.
Dave, great to get the European reaction to all of this. Thanks so much for joining us. Dave Keating reporting live there from Brussels.